Okay, Emotionen und Gedanken. Wenn wir Emotionen in uns hervorrufen, kostet dies Energie. Diese Emotionen geben uns dann wieder Energie, doch kostet es Energie, diese Emotionen zu beginnen hervorzurufen. Wenn wir uns dazu Situationen im Außen schaffen, die uns begeistern und diese Emotionen auslösen, dann gibt uns das Energie. Das bedeutet, wir benötigen diese... Nah man, we're gonna be doing... the first article once again. We're going to read the whole thing one more time from the beginning to end. Success is about who you are. It is defined by what you consistently do. Celebrate every small win. They pave the way to big victories. We attract what we disown. Life pulls us towards wholeness. Positivity is already positive. It brings better ideas and bigger outcomes. The beliefs we hold shape the actions that we take. Understanding others begins with understanding what drives them exactly. Celebrate the small steps. They are the foundation of your big dreams. Your self-talk isn't just chatter, it is the script for your life. Positivity is already positive. Believe it, live it, and reap the rewards. You attract what you think about, so choose your thoughts wisely. Isolation breeds weakness. Connection is your strength. Belief is contagious. Our inner world is the ground in which the seed of our outer reality sprout. How to write an article. Exactly. The tyranny of should. A lot of us are giving energy to the shoulds. It prevents you from taking action when you first need to take action, and it prevents you from resting when you need rest. Life's guidance shows up when our needs are met. That basically means that we first have to take care of our weekly schedule so that we put in habits that are conducive to our being in balance, so that our guidance, life's guidance, can show up when our needs are met. Because if not, we are just concerned with meeting our immediate needs. And so guidance shows up when our needs are met. And so what is life's guidance? Life guides us through the voice of our intuition, and our intuition is our very own bodily intelligence that knows best what we need, that knows best who we are and what is important to us, our intuition. And so the intuition basically receives all kinds of inputs, various factors, because the mind can only process information literally. The intuition can take all of the other factors into consideration and give out a feeling response in the same way as the mind gives out a verbalized thought response, pinpointed and clear. The intuition gives out a rather fuzzy, not very clear result, or rather response, I should say. We have needs that we need to take care of, to be connected with other people, to exhaust ourselves physically from time to time, to make mental efforts, to create, to be creative, to create, having the feeling that we can affect outcomes. We need to spend energy resolving the things inside that are preventing us from having these needs met, so that we can receive the subtle guidance of life that only shows up when we are not seeking to fulfill ourselves anymore. Life areas that I am pleased with: meaning and mission, health and time, content ideas. I spend 10,000 hours into personal development, and here's what I found that works best. I'm always looking at the titles that I have already been proven to work, and I am analyzing the underlying psychological principles behind why it works, so that I build the capacity to decide and discern what is good and what is not. Tony Robbins, State and Environment. I am a master of social media and client acquisition. I am always paying attention to the title and the thumbnail. The title and the thumbnail set expectations that the video is going to exceed. What curiosity can I evoke in the video that my clients would want to see? I spent 200 days recording my learnings every day. Here's how to categorize your learnings so that you remember when you started. Connection to the purpose. Yes, I'm overflowing with love. Yes, I'm a master of social media and client acquisition. Exactly. So in the same way as I had regrets about not talking to women in Cologne during the pandemic, and now I'm not thinking about it anymore, in the same way I will not be thinking about the actions that I didn't take during the pandemic a few months when the success is rolling in. This is life. I'm not only dealing with the beauty in life, but I'm dealing with all of life, and that makes life worthwhile and amazing, because I'm not excluding anything from life that I address. I'm also not excluding anybody as a person from my work. Amen. High level of thinking comes from having the character deeply rooted in reality and truth. When you're waking up, higher level ideas come flowing effortlessly into you. When you're waking up, everything in your life integrates because there is no choice but to. We are pushing things out and putting them off because we feel that we can't deal with them right now in the moment. So by being clearly and having woken up, you have nothing anymore that you are running away from, because the egoic structure has dissolved. Waking up is ROI positive. Procrastination. There cannot be emotional control without emotional expression. Emotional control comes down to A, setting up life circumstances and making them a system where one's emotional needs are being met for status, connection, certainty, variety, self-expression, physical needs for exercise and intimate connection with a significant other. Learning emotional expression so that emotions can flow and don't get piled up. That means learning skills of communication, of receiving and asking, of getting over one's ego and be willing to embarrass oneself, among other. Self-soothing for sadness, management for anger. Sabotage means committing acts so that the outcome does not occur. Why is life so complicated for so many people? We have emotions, we have thoughts that we tend to believe, we have needs that we need to attend to. We are dealing with other people. We will need to put our own wants and needs to the back and learn to see things from somebody else's point of view. This is called empathy. The more empathetic we are, the more we can see and understand another person's position, their needs, their wants, and what it is that moves them. What are the things that move the needle forward for all of us? Life is like a pendulum. YouTube video. I'm nailing the YouTube SEO process that has allowed me to gain 600 views over the last 4 years passively just by making one great video. The root cause of low self-esteem. Life is like a pendulum. What is the core meaning of emotions? How to build good habits easily. How to use incantations the right way over the last 200 days. Use the title from the school training document that read like this. I spent 10,000 hours attending Tony Robbins seminars all around the world. Here's what I have learned. 4 confusions that are born out of the ego that I wish I knew earlier, that have cost me a lot of years but have taught me a lot. Sexual promiscuity. Thoughts are creative. Behavior is what changes lives. You need to be it and then you become it. Sexual promiscuity. I realized that these behaviors only feel attractive in a low vibrational state, meaning feeling unworthy deep inside. For me, it was that I didn't want the rejection of a woman, that she saw that I am still imperfect. I thought I am on the path of bettering myself and I would eventually get to the point where my life is in order and basically perfect. Then I'm going to be able to attract a good woman and be with her. Thoughts are creative. I didn't fully understand the basic principle of manifestation. Our thoughts create our reality. The thoughts we think affect our energy, and so we feel drawn to other energies that resonate with these energies. Like a person with a low self-esteem who feels dirty and behaves in the same way, only feels comfortable around other people or areas that are dirty because this is who this person sees himself as. Until I really understood that, I learned to indoctrinate myself with the thoughts that I want to think, that the person that I want to be would be thinking naturally, and condition them so that these thoughts appear habitually and effortlessly in my mind as I go through life. These high quality, high energy thoughts change our perspectives and our self-perception and make us live in a higher vibration so that we feel attracted to other high vibe energies and attract and keep them into our lives. When we come in contact with high vibration individuals, one of two things happen. Either we feel inspired or we feel triggered and we ditch. Until I really understood that, I learned to indoctrinate myself with the thoughts that I want to think, that the person that I want to be would be thinking naturally, and condition them so that these thoughts appear habitually and effortlessly in my mind as I go through life. These high quality, high energy thoughts change our perspectives and our self-perception and make us live in a higher vibration so that we feel attracted to other high vibe energies and attract and keep them into our lives. When we come in contact with people who vibrate on a higher energy, I remember that I used to feel intimidated by both women and men who vibrated on a higher energy, and instead of seeking them out, I was avoiding people and places like that in order to protect my own ego and my self-perception, so that I could hold up the idea that I am okay for my age and alright the way that I was living my life. I would have confronted with the same reality of who I really was at the time and how I was living my life, and since I was confronting myself with this criticism inside of me every day, I didn't want to have more of that in my life because my own self-criticism was already too much to deal with. Behavior is what changes lives. You have to be it in order to become it. Behaviors build the habit of acting into our body and nervous system so that we spontaneously act the way we would. Then others tend to notice that and pay respect. When we behave like the person who we want to be, other people notice that and believe we must be acting this way because this is how a person of that quality would act, and they assume that we are there. And when both we and the other person believe that we are the person and it's consistent through time, we have become that person. So it really is about the self-perception. Learnings that I have made from 11 years of isolation. The effects of 11 years of isolation. If this resonates with you, click the link below and join my free school community. What I can't do on YouTube is to interact with you directly. Join my free school community where you can talk to me every day. Isolation made me weak. I feel that I had to prove myself even though I knew better. I spent about 11 years pretty much isolating myself from people to find and heal myself. These are two main lessons. Humans have a hard time regulating the emotions on their own. When we spend time with people, we have to get outside of ourselves and often realize that our issues are not that big of a deal. Thoughts create reality. When we are alone, our thoughts center around ourselves, so we create more of what we think about, leading to a self-centered life. Mental illness can be due to just lack of connection. Talking to oneself is often just a misguided attempt to connect. When there is nobody listening, people start talking to themselves. How to change behaviors that I already know that you need to change, but it feels like you can't. We need to understand that every behavior is there because it gives us something. What does it give us? It either helps us fill a need inside of ourselves, or it helps us bring our entire system back into balance, so that we release some stored energy, or so that it increases the likelihood that we get what we need. For that, it is important too. Changing ourselves or changing our life circumstances. Oftentimes, especially in personal development, we believe that changing everything inside of ourselves is going to be the key and the answer to a change on the outside. That is true, yet the change also happens the other way around. When we make changes in our life circumstances, we also change our inside. Exactly. Some studies say that we think 6,000 thoughts per day, others say it's 35,000. Whatever it is, I don't believe they run out. Because how many of us go to bed with an empty mind? Not a lot for most of us. It is constant chattering. So they don't run out because our minds are still. Why do they run out? I believe they run out because we run out of time. So what are you doing with your 6,000 thoughts a day? Where do they go? Do they go all in all directions, or are they focused on advancing your life forward and resolving what is holding you back from living the life of your dreams? Thoughts are pointers. They point towards and in the phenomenon. Sometimes it can be that an energy needs to be released and then activates manifest scenario which gets in connection with that energy. In healing work, it seems to be so that insecurities come up in moments of being unconscious. Although this unconscious fear manifest moment will be go unconscious period while we eat, talk, sleep, etc. There's something here. Interesting. 3 common childhood dynamics that affect us as adults. Role reversal. When a child needed to be the caretaker of a parent, they pick partners that are broken. They unconsciously look for people and things to fix. Emotionally unavailable parent, believing people will always leave, pushing people away, being dependent on others although not wanting to. the tendency to isolate, emotionally unpredictable parents, second-guessing oneself, anticipating the worst outcomes in life. I dropped out of college and used my college fund to buy myself 10,000 hours of alone time instead. Here's what I've learned. You can find who you are and you can decide who you want to be. Success is the result of habits which compound massively over time. There are only a few things you can get exceptional at in your lifetime. Most people are suffering in silence. It's all they know and they don't even know why they suffer. This is a great title. Do we put that here into our... Man, it looks so clean. Are you kidding me, man? Everything in my life is so nice and clean. It's beautiful. It's truly beautiful. Oh, it is so leicht. Es ist so leicht. Ja, hey. Alright, here, content to be modeled, because here we have our titulitos, our titles. Exactly. Alright, first and foremost, we go forward every time. How to enhance decision-making skills. Less inner conflicts to make for more decision-making skills. Strategies that you have never heard before. Decision-making takes energy. In order to make better decisions, I only focus on raising the energy that you have so that you have more energy at my disposal when making decisions. Letting go of inner conflicts, understanding self-sabotage. Self-sabotage happens when there are two contradicting motivations inside of a person. Hook. Why does self-sabotage happen to some people? Because there are two contradicting motivations inside of a person. Why is it that self-sabotage ruins some people's lives and others can't understand it? Because there are two contradicting motivations inside of a person. How would you explain self-sabotage? How would you explain that? Some people sabotage their success. How would you explain that? One wants better relationships, another wants peace in the relationship and avoid hard conversations. One wants to be loved because lack of love would mean death and undeservingness. One wants to be unique and special. One wants to be excitement and novelty, another wants sameness and predictability, especially when love is on the line, or one of the basic human needs. All behavior meets human needs, of which there are only a few. The needs that the self-sabotage part is the part that once the protection is meeting, probably are either being special, being loved, or being secure. Security, being special, and being loved are important human needs that everybody needs to meet. When self-sabotage takes place, we don't do that consciously, it happens unconsciously rather. When it happens, then likely unconscious fears are at play that create the self-sabotage. Self-sabotage means that we want one thing, but then when it seems likely we pull back. What does that mean? Self-sabotage does not happen when we don't believe it to be possible. The effect of inner blockages are, if you have trouble expressing yourself, that you have trouble doing the things you need to do in order to succeed. The effects of energetic blockages are, when you have a problem in your life, oftentimes it is not the issue that you are thinking of that is the real issue. People tend to look at symptoms and overlook the root cause of it. That's exactly right, because when we want to change behavior, and here in this channel it's all about decoding human behavior, we do not look at the behavior and trying to change that. First of all, we go deeper and find the real cause of the behavior, meaning what is it giving you and why is it happening? Because one thing that I can assure you of, it doesn't happen for no reason, meaning every behavior has a reason. And if you don't like this behavior and to try to stop and it persists, then there is a reason why. And unless you find the reason, it's not easy to change. You cannot change this behavior because you need to change what you do so that the reason falls away and then the behavior falls away, so that the reason is addressed and then the behavior falls away. The behavior is basically just, it's a reflection of it. You got to look at the source, right? It's like the cat chasing the laser pointer. It's like the cat chasing the laser pointer. You gotta look at the source of where it's coming from, not the reflection on the wall. Because otherwise, you're silly like a cat, running around trying to change your behaviors in this way. Right? When we don't understand the deeper psychological reasons of why this behavior happens. And that is why I'm offering this free school community, so that people like you have a place where they can grow, an environment where they can grow in. And I'm making this community for you so that you can have the access to the interventions that you need. I specialize in all things inner blockages. If you feel blocked inside of you and inhibited and you don't know where this is coming from, then this is the place for you. When you don't know what it is inside of you that is holding you back from doing what you want to be doing in your life, and you sense that there is a calling right now to wake up or be left behind, then this is the place for you. When you feel that there is anything inside of you that is hindering you from expressing your true self the way you truly want to express it. Whatever we think about is what we attract into our lives. It works in quite a magical and miraculous way. We focus on that and we tend to take on the energy of what we focus on. We get similar insights. Insights similar to the vibration of the thought that we tend to focus on. Dynamics of attracting who we don't want to be. There is an intervention with a woman called Suki that Tony did in Fiji. He used this intervention in order to exemplify how disowned parts of ourselves can manifest in a partner and cause trouble for ourselves. When we grew up, we were rewarded or overtly or covertly punished for traits, actions, and ways of being. How we never must be in the past are the disowned parts. These parts, as Tony explains in the intervention, are what we like in others and also dislike in others. I can relate to that because there was a time in my life where I thought it would be beneficial to kick beggars in the face in order to teach them a lesson and make them work instead of beg. I figured that pain just wasn't big enough for them, and so they were quite comfortable begging like this. I fortunately never acted out these impulses and I left them alone. Sometimes even gave them a little change, but rarely did I. But never any words of encouragement, which probably wouldn't have helped either, because these people, they need to be put in a different environment. You gotta take them and put them somewhere. Because words, they don't hear it. They are so confused with their own thoughts, they don't even hear you. And they have no point in acting. They're like, well, you gotta think differently. You gotta put them in an environment where you teach them step by step, like a baby. Because that's what they are, basically. Totally dependent. There's an intervention with a woman called Suki that Tony did in Fiji. He talks about the different parts inside of ourselves. He used the intervention to show how we disown parts of ourselves. These disowned parts tend to pull the same thing that we didn't want to see in us unconsciously. When we grew up, we were rewarded or overtly or covertly punished for traits, actions, and ways of being. We tend to attract in a partner the parts of ourselves that we in ourselves have disowned. Real script. Have you ever wondered why we seem to keep repeating behavior patterns even if we don't want to? This is what keeps attracting the very thing that we are afraid of. Why is it that we keep attracting the very thing that we are afraid of? There are energies inside of us, and when we disown or repeat a certain energy, we attract it to us on the outside so that the inside gets healed. Why is it that we keep repeating behaviors? Exactly. Why is it that we keep attracting partners with similar qualities? It is because this behavior or quality that the person has is a manifestation of a deeper underlying energy. We hold the same energy inside of ourselves, but it is a disowned part. We attract in others the parts that we have disowned in ourselves. So why do we keep attracting partners with similar qualities? New topics. How to get leverage onto a person to change human behavior. Tony Robbins' intervention with the Spurs. Here's what I learned from Tony Robbins working with the Spurs and Dennis Rodman. Yes, it is true that you can change in the moment, you can make yourself change. But what I'm interested in, what pulls you back in automatically. One thing is the habit, you go on autopilot back to what you know, but there are also deeper things happening that need to be resolved so that the pull is not that strong anymore. Because if you don't recognize the why behind why you're being pulled back into that, then you do not. Day 5. Unpacking how we got from 400k to 3.3 million on the book deal negotiation story. Know your value, have proof, understand the needs and the wounds so that you can get leverage. Utilize opportunities to demonstrate your value. Knowing your value, believing that you are actually worth it. Ideally, being able to prove that you are worth it from the eyes of somebody else. Needs, making money, deeper needs, significant, showing how he will be. Descriptive versus creative thought. Descriptive versus creative thought. What is the voice in our head that sounds like us? Oftentimes the voice does sound like us, but not always. Sometimes the voice sounds like an advertising jingle. Descriptive thoughts are, for example, oh, I stepped into it, only 2 to go, if you're going up the stairs. Why does he look at me like that? Descriptive thoughts like that are often passive, meaning they happen to you, in opposition to actually thinking, which I define as actively doing something. Non-verbal thoughts are basically reactions. They are reactions to stimuli that in the past created thoughts, and now the pathways are being triggered even without thoughts. This type of thinking is much faster and is often related to intuition. Creative thought is active. It doesn't happen on its own unless you make it happen. This type of thinking is often called speaking it into existence, because thoughts do manifest when believed, acted upon, and spoken with a lot of repetition over a multi-year time horizon. Descriptive thought is thought that describes what we see, feel, or experience. Creative thought is thought that creates the reality that we want. Most people are not aware that there is something like creative thought. Most people are not aware that they are creating their reality with their thoughts and their inner imaginations. Wherever you put the energy of your emotions and thoughts towards, this is what your life will get more of. Energy is attractive. You tend to attract energy that is similar to your energy that you are holding inside of yourself right now. Descriptive thought is thought that describes what we see, hear, feel, perceive. Like, I stepped into the puddle. Now I have to walk with my feet wet. I should remember this item when I go shopping. I need to make money the following week. I can't believe she said this about me. What's going on here? Why is that not working? Most thought patterns are found in the realm of descriptive thought, reviewing past emotional experiences, casting forward emotional experiences, preparing what to say, reiterating, or it feels like these thoughts are flying in, what other people have said to me in childhood, reiterating truisms and aphorisms heard in childhood, but negative aphorisms, you can't have everything. Creative thought patterns link together with the discipline to focus on what you want to feel. Feeling not what you feel right now in this moment, but feeling what you want to feel. Not focusing on what is immediate and pulls in your focus right now in this moment, but focusing on what will bring you forward, focusing on what you want, not what you don't want. 3 focus shifts and how to implement them. Focus on what you want to feel, not what you are feeling. Focus on where you want to go, not where you are. Focus on what you have, not what you don't have. Focus on what worked, not what didn't work. Focus on action, not on past actions that didn't work. Focus on gain, not losses. Focus on the what you do have time for instead of what you don't have time for. Focus on what you're grateful for, not what is still not perfect. Focus on feeling free, not where you're feeling restrained. Focus on the beautiful, not the ugly. Focus on the good, not the bad. Focus on yourself, not other people's problems. Focus on other people, not your problems. Focus on yourself, not other people's problems. Focus on other people, not on your problems. Focus on feeling unlimited, because the only limitation we have are the limitations we create. Focus on what you have, not what you need to get. Focus on what you can give, not what you need to get. Focus on building, not on destroying. Focus on what is growing, not what is shrinking. There are 2 types of thoughts. The distinction is valuable because it will help you create the life of your dreams and to understand people on a deeper level. Descriptive thought and creative thought. Descriptive thought is describing to ourselves what we experience now. I stepped into the puddle. Now I have to walk with my feet wet. I need to remember getting this item when I go shopping. I really need to make money the following week. I can't believe she said this about me. What's going on here? Why is that not working? These are all descriptive thoughts. Only 2 to go when you're walking up the store. Multi-story building on the stairs. Only 2 to go, right? Only 2 rounds to go. These are all descriptive thoughts. But every thought is creative. That means every thought has an effect on our system. And when we let them accumulate, our life tends to take on a whole different direction. Creative thought, not what you are experiencing, but what you want to experience. Instead of only 2 to go, you can say, I got this, I'm still strong. I got this, I'm still strong, right? While feeling the feeling, I got it, I'm still strong. Without reacting to the feeling, exactly. I am strong and authentic. Love is flowing out of me in avalanches of abundance. I am respected and liked because of my immaculate reputation. I make people laugh and smile. All of the answers and resources are inside of me and within reach. Here is the lesson in this. Every thought is creative. When we think descriptive thought, we create more of what we describe. When we think creative thought, we also get more of what we describe. Shifting the ratio towards creative thought is a key mental practice to create the life of our dreams. There is a famous intervention of a woman named Beverly who lost 200 pounds despite having nerve damage in her legs. One of the key lessons he gave her was to focus on what you want to experience in life, not what you are currently experiencing. Not to dwell on the past in regret and lower emotions. The reason for that is that the lower emotions attract more of the same. The emotions that we hold inside of ourselves and the thoughts that come with it tend to attract more of the same of what we already had. Alright, let's see the Google chat. Alright, further forward we go. The reason for that is that lower emotions attract more of the same. The emotions that we hold inside of ourselves and the thoughts that come with them tend to attract more of the same of what we already had. It is interesting that when people are in imbalance, they gravitate towards the basics of life. Selling commodities which everybody uses like metal, steel, wood, mortar, etc. When people are in a mindset of lack and poverty, they don't believe that they can have an abundance of energy, creativity and capability inside of them. If they did believe that, then it would still take some years for this belief to actualize. Because every immediate reward is detrimental, but long-term gains always involve delaying immediate reward and they require trust that it's going to work. For people to trust these life mechanics, it is important to have case studies of people who are just like them, who did these manifestation practices and have gotten the results that they wanted. How to not manifest your dream. How to make dreams die, do you like? Would you strangle a little girl like that? This is one of the questions that Tony Robbins asked an obese woman named Beverly who proceeded to lose 200 pounds. What he meant was how she was treating herself. The key lesson was focusing on what she wants to experience and not what she is currently experiencing. This focus on the present made her feel bad and in turn comfort herself with food. Focus equals feelings. When we feel bad long enough, we invariably start acting badly. When we feel good, we invariably start acting better if we consistently focus on it. So focus on where you want to go, not where you are. There is a famous intervention with a woman named Beverly who lost 200 pounds despite having nerve damage in her legs. How is that possible? How would you do that? One of the key lessons he gave her was to focus on what she wants to experience in life, not what she was currently experiencing, not to dwell on the past in regret and lower emotions. The reason for that is that our lower emotions attract more of the same. The emotions that we hold inside of ourselves and the thoughts that come with it tend to attract more of the same of what we already had. Isn't it funny how the real us rarely comes out? It is all conditioning. The real you is designed by something bigger than you. Here's the key lesson. The only thing that gives you pain is the love that you won't express. We are creatures of movement. We have to let our emotions flow. When we hang on to our love in order to try not to lose it, we see that love replenishes. It becomes more the more we share it. Because love can be transferred and transmitted to others and it balances us. So we give love and energy to others, but we also receive energy in return without the other giving anything, just by being in relation to humans and being physically with them to express ourselves and to perceive and receive humankind connection, humankind emotions. That is one of the reasons why people used to watch telenovelas, because it was one of a charge up and experience human emotions, beautiful emotions, which are a human energetic need that we need in order to be in balance. And if we don't have that, we will find surrogate ways to meet our needs for perceiving and taking in human emotions in other ways. When we don't express our love, we starve ourselves of receiving love back, expressing ourselves truthfully, perceiving and experiencing human emotions. And it creates manifesting thought patterns that tend to manifest more of the same of the internal states that made these thought patterns appear. What we're going to focus on top of that is emotional control and thought control. It is important to have emotional control, but it cannot be achieved by force. Part of emotional control is to set up life circumstances in a way that are conducive to balance and the possibility for emotional control. We can control emotions short term, but the same psychological mechanism of voluntary inhibition can lead to long-term repression, and then we won't have emotional control over them. Oftentimes, the emotional patterns that we see in ourselves and others are due to a release of energy that needs to happen, due to inhibition and repression. When we believe that there are certain human needs that are not met and others that are met through expression or inhibition this emotion, then the emotion will be repressed, expressed, or inhibited or fully shown. Thought control means that we control the content and direction of our thoughts. Basically, they mean the same. What we focus on is what we feel and what we move towards. It becomes more and more part of our life. When we spend an hour each day in anger, violent fantasies like I have, those fantasies become an increasingly big part of your life because they take more time of your focus and so enter your life experience. You don't know what you don't experience. In turn, that which you experience becomes a huge part of your experience and of life. Exactly. We need to learn to direct our focus towards what we want, not what we don't want. Where focus goes, energy flows, yet sometimes we cannot control our focus. So what do we do then? As many of you probably have experienced, you cannot always control where your mind wanders towards. Here is an explanation why. Deprived human needs call for attention and make your focus be drawn to it. When we have a need for love and connection deprived, whatever your nervous system remembers that filled the need in the past, either completely or partially, will be sought. So oftentimes you realize that you tend to have fantasies about things that fill these needs. These fantasies can be either direct or vague. Oftentimes a memory is being triggered and it was something related to this memory that met a need, and your entire system, becoming aware of the deprivation, strives for homeostasis, which is balance. Biologically it strives for balance, but also psychologically. When there is an energetic imbalance in your system, your mind and body work together, conspire in a way to bring the system back into balance. You can think of it like a pendulum. This is great. Your body can swing back and forth and straight to the left and the right around the center point called balance. But you can only go on so far until the forces of life, the pendulum, example gravity, will pull you back towards balance. And if you, through some inner imbalance, go too far to one side, without making an effort to rebalance yourself, life will forcefully put you towards balance. But because you have held yourself in the one side of the imbalance so forcefully and so long, it goes forcefully into the other direction. What are my articles all about? Decoding human behavior, understanding what you need to do for self-improvement and healing. I am helping business owners with the inner cleanup to be more productive and work hard to get ahead and create a strong position for the future. Not blaming others, taking courage. Not looking outside of you for answers and solutions. Take more courage than most people have.